Betrayal isn't always a grand theft. It can be a quiet dismissal that cuts just as deep. I'm Nora, a Seattle single mom who thought I'd found love with Ethan until he banned my son from our wedding for not being family. From heartbreak to a comeback that left him stunned, this is my story of standing up, striking back, and painting a new life for me and my boy. If you've ever fought for your kid's place in the world, drop your story below. Let's rise together. I never thought I'd be sitting here, in my tiny Seattle apartment overlooking the Fremont Troll, spilling my guts about a betrayal that still feels like a fresh bruise. It's May 2025, and the city's alive with spring. Pike Place Market buzzing with tourists, the Puget Sound sparkling under a rare sunny sky. A year ago, I was Nora, 32, a single mom with stars in my eyes, planning a wedding to a man I thought was my forever. Now, I'm still Nora, but I'm tougher, wiser, and damn proud of the fight I put up for me and my son, Liam. Let me take you back to the beginning, because to understand how I rose from the ashes, you need to know how my world caught fire. I'm a graphic designer, freelancing for tech startups and coffee shops, with a side gig teaching art classes at a community center in Capitol Hill. Seattle's been my home since I moved here from Spokane 8 years ago, pregnant and scared, after Liam's dad bailed. This city's got a heartbeat, rainy nights at Elliott Bay Book Company, fish flying at Pike Place, the hum of ferries crossing the Sound. I raised Liam, now 6, in a world of color and chaos, teaching him to sketch waves on Alki Beach and dream big. He's my heart, curly-haired, gap-toothed, with a laugh that could melt the Space Needle. Life wasn't easy, but it was ours, and I thought I'd finally found someone to share it with, Ethan. I met Ethan 3 years ago at a Fremont art walk, one of those crisp fall nights where the air smells of cider and leaves. He was 35, a project manager at a tech firm, with a warm smile and a knack for making me laugh. I was showing my digital art, vibrant prints of Seattle's skyline, when he stopped by my booth. "This one," he said, pointing to a piece of the Sound at dusk, "feels like home." We talked for hours about art, code, and our shared love for late-night runs to Dick's Drive-In for fries. By the end of the night he had my number, and I had a spark I hadn't felt in years. Ethan was a dream. He'd show up at my apartment with takeout from Ivar's, sit with Liam and me on our paint-splattered floor, and listen as I rambled about my latest project. He'd play soccer with Liam in Volunteer Park, cheering like a goof when Liam scored. I'd watch them, my heart swelling, thinking, this is it, this is family. Ethan had 2 kids from a previous marriage, twins, Ava and Zoe, age 8, sweet but shy. I adored them, braiding their hair, teaching them to draw. We were blending our families, or so I thought, and I was saving for a ring, not for me, but to propose to Ethan. I'd planned it for our wedding day, a surprise during our vows at a waterfront venue on Bainbridge Island. Romantic, right? God, I was naive. My family was small but tight. My mom, Diane, a retired nurse in Tacoma, was my rock, always calling to check on Liam. My brother, Sam, a barista at Storyville Coffee, was my confidant, dropping by with pastries and sarcasm. Ethan's family was trickier. His ex-wife, Claire, was civil but distant, and his parents, who lived in Bellevue, were polite but cold, eyeing me like I was a temporary guest. I brushed it off. Blended families are messy, right? But Ethan's insistence on equality for all the kids gave me hope. He'd say things like, "Liam's as much mine as Ava and Zoe," and I believed him. Until the wedding planning started. Last spring we got engaged. Ethan proposed at Cary Park, the Space Needle glowing behind us, and I said yes through tears. Liam was thrilled, asking if he could call Ethan Dad. We started planning the wedding for June, a small affair at a Bainbridge lodge with views of the Sound. I threw myself into it. Wildflower bouquets, a playlist of indie folk, a cake from Macrina Bakery. Ethan was excited, especially about the kids' roles. "Ava and Zoe will be flower girls," he said one night over dinner at our apartment. "And I'm thinking Liam could be the ring bearer. Perfect, right?" I nodded, smiling. Liam as ring bearer. Lyle? He'd love it, strutting down the aisle in a tiny suit, his curls bouncing. But a week later, Ethan dropped a bomb. We were at his place in Queen Anne, kids asleep, going over the guest list. I mentioned Liam's role, saying, "He's so excited to be ring bearer." I got him a little bow tie from Fremont Market. Ethan frowned, setting down his beer. "Actually, Nora, I've been thinking, I don't think Liam should be ring bearer." I blinked, sure I'd misheard. What? Why not? He shrugged, casual as if we were picking pizza toppings. It's just, Ava and Zoe are my kids, you know? I want the roles to reflect that. They'll be flower girls, and my nephew can be ring bearer. My stomach twisted. Reflect what? I asked, voice tight. That Liam's not family? He sighed, rolling his eyes. Don't make it a big deal, Nora. It's just a wedding role. Liam can sit with your mom. I was stunned. Liam, my 6-year-old who called Ethan dad, wasn't family. I tried to stay calm. Ethan, he's so excited. It's one role. Why can't he do it? He crossed his arms, his tone sharpening. Because it's my call, and I want my kids front and center. Liam's not my son. It's different. The words hit like a slap. Not my son. I pushed back gently at first. We're blending families, Ethan. Liam's part of this. Excluding him feels wrong. He scoffed, a cold laugh that made my skin crawl. And you're being dramatic. It's not exclusion. It's just how it is. That was the first crack, the moment I saw Ethan's narcissism peek through. His need to control the narrative, to prioritize his kid's spotlight, was more about his ego than fairness. I tried again, explaining how Liam would feel left out, how he'd see Ava and Zoe in their sparkly dresses while he sat on the sidelines. He's 6, I said. Tonsil hurt him. Ethan waved me off. Ethan waved me off. Ethan waved me off. You're making this a my kid versus your kid's thing, and it's petty. Petty. The word stung, a classic gaslighting move to make me doubt my instincts. I backed off, not because I agreed, but because I was too shocked to fight. The next few weeks were tense. I kept planning the wedding, venues, catering, invites, but the joy was gone. Every time I saw Liam, his big brown eyes full of hope, I felt a lump in my throat. He'd overheard Ava and Zoe giggling about their flower girl dresses and asked, Mom, do I get to wear a cool suit for the wedding? I forced a smile. I sighed. I'm working on it, buddy. But inside I was breaking. How do you tell your kid he's not wanted in a day that's supposed to unite you all? I tried bringing it up with Ethan again, hoping he'd soften. One night after the kids were in bed, I sat him down. Ethan, Liam's excited about the wedding. Can we please make him ring bearer? It's not a big change. He groaned, like I was asking him to move mountains. Nora, we've been over this. My nephew's doing it. Why can't you let it go? I pushed, voice shaking. Because it's not just a role. It's about Liam feeling like he belongs. He calls you dad. And Dane's face hardened. He's not my kid, Nora. You need to stop forcing this. That was it. The gaslighting in full force. He twisted it, making me the problem for wanting my son included, framing my love for Liam as forcing a bond. I felt the trauma bond tightening, that desperate pull to hold on to the Ethan I'd loved, the one who'd promised us a family. But the man in front of me was different, his narcissism shining through in his refusal to compromise. You're being toxic, he snapped, echoing the dismissiveness I'd heard before. This is my wedding too, and I'm not budging. I walked away, tears burning, realizing this wasn't about Liam. It was about Ethan's need to control. I started noticing other things. At family dinners, Ethan would shower Ava and Zoe with attention, helping with their homework, laughing at their jokes, while Liam got a distracted nod or a quick "good job, bud." When Liam asked Ethan to play catch, Ethan would say, "Maybe later," then spend hours with his twins. Liam's face would fall, and I'd scoop him up, pretending it was fine, but it wasn't. My son was starting to feel like an outsider in the family I'd dreamed of building, and it gutted me. My mom saw it too. Over coffee at Le Panier, she said, "Honora, he's not treating Liam right. You need to talk to him." I tried, but every conversation ended the same. Ethan shutting me down, calling me dramatic, insisting I was dividing our family. Sam, my brother, was blunter. "He's a narcissist, Nora. He wants his kids on a pedestal and Liam in the background. Dump him." I laughed it off, but his words stuck. Was I clinging to a fantasy, ignoring the red flags because of my trauma bond with Ethan? A month before the wedding, things got worse. Liam came home from Ethan's place, where he'd spent the weekend with Ava and Zoe, looking quiet. "Mom," he said, voice small. "Why don't I get to be in the wedding like the girls?" My heart shattered. The twins had been chattering about their dresses, and Liam, confused, asked Ethan why he wasn't included. Ethan's response? "It's just for my kids, Liam. You'll have fun watching." I was livid. Not only had Ethan excluded my son, but he'd dismissed his feelings to his face. I confronted Ethan that night, rage bubbling. "How could you tell Liam he's not part of the wedding?" "He's 6, Ethan. He's hurt." Ethan rolled his eyes, that narcissistic smirk creeping in. "He's fine, Nora. You're blowing this out of proportion. Kids don't care about this stuff." I snapped. "He cares and I care. This isn't just a wedding. It's our family. It's our..." "If you can't include Liam, what kind of future are we building?" He laughed, cold and sharp. "If you're this hung up on a kid's role, maybe you're not ready for this marriage." That was the moment I saw him clearly. Ethan's narcissism wasn't just about control, it was about prioritizing his image, his kids, his narrative, at the expense of mine. His gaslighting had me questioning my sanity, but I wasn't crazy. I was a mom fighting for her son, and I was done begging. That night, I made a decision, not to fight, but to flip the script. If Ethan thought he could exclude Liam and still have his perfect wedding, he was wrong. I didn't call off the wedding right away. Instead, I let Ethan plan, let him think he'd won. He booked the caterers, finalized the guest list, even picked out Ava and Zoe's dresses. I smiled, nodded, and quietly planned my own move. Seattle's art scene gave me the perfect stage. I'd been invited to show my work at the Seattle Art Fair, a huge event in July at Lumenfield, where collectors, critics, and influencers gather. It was after the wedding date, but I saw an opportunity. A way to tell my story, reclaim my power, and show Ethan and the world what he'd tried to erase. I poured my pain into a new series, Petals of Betrayal. Each piece was a digital painting, blending Seattle's landscapes with raw emotion. One showed a boy alone on a ferry, the sound stormy behind him, symbolizing Liam's exclusion. Another depicted a wedding veil torn by shadows, my own heartbreak. The final piece, New Dawn, was a vibrant image of a mother and son painting a sunrise over the Cascades, our rebirth. I didn't name Ethan, but the story was clear. I also started setting boundaries. A concept doctor, Lee, my therapist, had been drilling into me. I'd started therapy after the last fight, needing clarity. Dr. Paul Lee helped me see Ethan's narcissism, his need for control, his dismissal of my feelings, and my trauma bond, how I'd clung to the idea of family, despite the hurt. I told Ethan I needed space, limiting contact to wedding logistics. He didn't like it, texting, "You're being distant," but I held firm. The wedding day arrived, June 15th, 2025. The Bainbridge Lodge was stunning, wildflowers everywhere, the sound glittering. I wore a simple white dress, my heart heavy but resolute. Liam, in a little suit I'd bought anyway, looked adorable, though his eyes were sad. Can't I carry the rings, Mom?" he asked. I hugged him. "You're the most important part of today, buddy. Trust me." Guests arrived, my mom, Sam, Ethan's family, friends. Ethan was all smiles, oblivious, chatting with his parents as Ava and Zoe twirled in their dresses. The ceremony was set for 4 p.m., but at 3:30, I made my move. I'd told my mom and Sam my plan, and they backed me. I gathered the guests in the lodge's main hall, Ethan looking confused but following. "Before we start," I said, voice steady, "I need to share something." I'd set up a projector, and I played a short video I'd made. A montage of my Petals of Betrayal series, set to haunting music. Each painting flashed on screen with text I'd written. "This is for my son, who was told he wasn't family. For every child pushed aside, for every heart broken by those who should love them." The crowd gasped, whispering as the story unfolded. Ethan's face went white, his parents shifted uncomfortably. Ava and Zoe looked confused, but Liam, sitting with my mom, beamed. I stepped forward. "Ethan, I can't marry you," I said loud enough for all to hear. "You banned my son from this wedding, dismissed his place in our family, and called my love for him petty. I deserve a partner who sees Liam as I do. As family, we're done." The room was silent, then Sam started clapping, followed by my mom, then others. Ethan stammered, "Nora, you're ruining everything." But I walked away, Liam's hand in mine, feeling lighter than I had in months. The fallout was swift. Guests left, some offering support, others stunned. Ethan's parents called me dramatic, but I didn't care. Social media buzzed. Someone had recorded my speech, and it went viral. Seattle mom ditches fiancé at altar for excluding son. My art series became a sensation, with galleries clamoring for shows. Ethan tried calling, leaving voicemails about misunderstandings, but I blocked him. His narcissism couldn't handle the public shame and he faded from my life. Liam and I moved forward. I used the art sales to buy a small house in Ballard, with a studio for my work. Liam started soccer, thriving, his smile back. My mom and Sam were my rocks, and I made new friends at the art fair, including a single dad, Marcus, who treats Liam like his own. I'm not ready for love, but I'm open to it someday. Ethan's still out there, probably spinning his version of the story, but I don't care. I broke the trauma bond, set boundaries, and chose my son. Seattle taught me to turn pain into art, and I'm painting a new future, one where Liam and I shine. Leaving that wedding venue on Bainbridge Island, Liam's small hand in mine, felt like stepping out of a storm into a strange, quiet dawn. The Puget Sound shimmered under the June sun, and as we boarded the ferry back to Seattle, I felt a mix of relief and raw grief. I just walked away from a man I loved, a future I'd built in my head, and the family I thought we'd be. But as Liam leaned against me, pointing at seagulls swooping over the water, I knew I'd made the right choice. He was my world, and no one, not Ethan, not his narcissistic need for control, would dim his light. Back in our Fremont apartment, life didn't magically snap back to normal. The viral video of my wedding speech was everywhere, on X, local news, even a Reddit thread titled, "Seattle Mom's Epic Altar Takedown." Strangers messaged me, calling me brave or inspiring, but their words felt distant. I was too busy picking up the pieces. Liam was quieter than usual, asking, "Is Ethan mad at me?" I'd hug him tight, saying, "No, buddy, this is about grown-up stuff. You're perfect." But his questions cut deep, a reminder of how Ethan's exclusion had wounded him. My mom and Sam were my anchors. Over coffee at Storyville, Mom squeezed my hand. "You did what I couldn't when I was your age, stood up for your kid. I'm proud." Sam, ever the cynic, grinned. He roasted Ethan in front of everyone. Legendary. Their support was a lifeline, but the rest of my family, distant aunts, cousins, had opinions. Some called, urging me to reconsider for Liam's sake, as if staying with a man who dismissed my son was noble. Others sided with Ethan, saying I'd humiliated him. The gaslighting stung, echoing Ethan's tactics, but I brushed it off. I'd set boundaries and I wasn't bending. Ethan's family was worse. His mother, Linda, left a voicemail. "Nora, your little stunt was selfish. You've torn our family apart." I laughed, bitter. Torn their family apart. Ethan had excluded Liam, drawn a line between his kids and mine, and I was the villain? The narcissism ran deep. Linda's need to protect Ethan's image trumped any empathy for Liam or me. I didn't respond. "Boundary formation," Dr. Lee called it. "You don't owe them explanations," she'd said in our last session. "Your energy is for you and Liam." Work kept me sane. I threw myself into my art, preparing for the Seattle Art Fair. My Petals of Betrayal series was gaining buzz, with galleries in Belltown and Pioneer Square asking to showcase it. I'd work late in my studio, the Fremont troll looming outside my window, painting my pain into canvases that felt like battle scars. Liam would sit nearby, sketching fairies or superheroes, his presence grounding me. One night he held up a drawing, a boy and a woman holding hands under a rainbow. "That's us, Mom," he said, smiling. I teared up, seeing his resilience. He was healing, and so was I. To understand what this did to Liam, I need to step back. He's only 6, but kids feel everything, don't they? A week after the wedding, I found him in his room, staring at a photo from last summer. Him, me, Ethan, Ava, and Zoe at Alki Beach, eating ice cream. "Why doesn't Ethan want me anymore?" he asked, voice small. My heart broke. I sat beside him, pulling him close. "Ethan made a bad choice, buddy, but it's not about you. You're amazing, and I'm here forever." He nodded, but his eyes were sad, a shadow of the trauma bond he'd formed with Ethan, who'd been dad for 2 years. Liam's perspective shifted how I saw the betrayal. To me, Ethan's exclusion was a slap. To Liam, it was a rejection of his place in the world. He'd asked to call Ava and Zoe, confused when their mom, Claire, said they were busy. He'd draw pictures of Ethan, then scribble them out, angry but unable to say why. At school, his teacher noticed he was quieter, less eager to join games. He's processing something big," she said. I started taking him to a child therapist, Miss Batcher Carter, who helped him name his feelings. And he thought Ethan loved me, he told her once, and I had to leave the room to cry. Liam's hurt fueled my resolve. I doubled down on making him feel seen. Weekend hikes in the Olympics, art nights where we'd paint silly monsters, trips to Pike Place to watch the fish fly. One day, at the market, he pointed at a busker playing guitar. "Can I learn that, Mom?" I signed him up for lessons the next week, watching him strum with focus, his smile returning. He was finding his spark and I'd protect it at all costs. 2 months after the wedding, just as I was finding my footing, Ethan came back. It was August, a humid night, and I was at my apartment sketching for the art fair. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. I answered, and there was his voice, soft, almost broken. "Say, Nora, it's me, can we talk?" My stomach dropped, the trauma bond tugging at me, whispering maybe he's changed. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a cafe in Capitol Hill, neutral ground. He looked different, tired, unshaven, his usual confidence gone. "I messed up," he said, eyes down. "I was wrong about Liam, about everything. I miss you both." For a second, I felt that old spark, the Ethan who'd charmed me at the art walk. He apologized, saying he'd been stressed, that his ex-wife had pressured him to prioritize Ava and Zoe. "Let's start over, Liam can be part of everything." I wanted to believe him, but Dr. Lee's words echoed, and narcissists apologize when they lose control, not because they're sorry. I pressed him. "Why now, Ethan? Why after the video, the backlash?" He shifted, uncomfortable. "And saw your art, Nora. I realized how much I hurt you. I'm different now." But his words felt rehearsed, his eyes darting like he was hiding something. I said, "If you mean it, include Liam. Call him, apologize, make him feel like family." He hesitated, then mumbled, "And yeah, soon, let's just take it slow." That was the red flag. He wasn't sorry, he was scrambling to save face. Later, Sam dug around on X and found the truth. Ethan's company had caught wind of the viral video, and his boss, a family man, had called him out for bad optics. Claire, his ex, had also pulled back on custody, saying his drama was bad for Ava and Zoe. Ethan's apology was a calculated move to clean up his image, not a change of heart. The plot twist stung, but it freed me. The trauma bond snapped. I wasn't his fixer anymore. The deeper drama came from Ethan's family. Linda, his mother, escalated her attacks, showing up at my art class in Capitol Hill unannounced. "You've ruined Ethan's life," she hissed, her Bellevue pearls gleaming. "Those pandares are slander." I stayed calm, boundary formation in action. "And my truth, Linda. If you don't like it, that's your problem." She stormed out, but not before a student recorded it, posting it online with #PetalsOffBetrayal. The clip went viral, amplifying my story. My own family wasn't immune. My Aunt Karen, always one for keeping the peace, called from Spokane. "Nora, you're dragging this out. Think of Liam. He needs a father." I snapped. "He needs love, not a man who rejects him." Karen's gaslighting, framing my stand as harmful to Liam, mirrored Ethan's tactics, but I shut it down. I told my mom I wouldn't attend family events if Karen kept pushing, a boundary that felt scary but necessary. Mom backed me, saying, "You're doing right by Liam. I'll handle Karen." The worst was a family dinner at Mom's in Tacoma. Ethan's sister Rachel showed up, invited by Karen to mediate. Rachel cornered me, saying, "Ethan's struggling, Nora. You're making him look like a monster." I laughed, sharp. "He did that himself, Rachel. He banned my son from our wedding." She scoffed. "It was one role. You're so dramatic." The room went quiet, Mom and Sam staring. I stood, voice steady. "Dramatic? My son was told he's not family. If you think that's small, you're as blind as Ethan." I left, Liam in tow, his hand gripping mine. Sam followed, whispering, "Proud of you, sis." The Seattle Art Fair in July was my moment. Lumen Field was packed, collectors, influencers, locals buzzing under neon lights. My booth, draped in fairy lights, showcased petals of betrayal. I wore a bold red dress, Liam by my side in a tiny blazer, handing out postcards of my work. The crowd loved it, gasping at the paintings, sharing their own stories of betrayal. A critic from The Stranger called my work a raw, fearless narrative. And a gallery in Portland offered me a solo show. Then the final twist, Ethan showed up. I saw him across the crowd with Ava and Zoe, looking out of place. Liam tensed, whispering, "Mom, why's he here?" I squeezed his hand. "Don't worry, buddy. This is our night." Ethan approached, all charm. "Nora, your art's amazing. Can we talk?" The crowd watched, sensing drama. I smiled, cool as the sound. "No, Ethan. This is for Liam and me. You had your chance." I turned to the crowd, raising my voice. "This series is for my son who was told he wasn't enough. For every kid who's been pushed aside, we rise anyway." The crowd cheered, Liam beaming. Ethan slunk away, his daughters trailing, and I felt a rush of power. My revenge wasn't loud. It was in my art, my voice, my refusal to shrink. Social media exploded with #PedalSoftBetrayal trending. Ethan's reputation took another hit, his LinkedIn profile suddenly private. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. I'd won by living my truth. Now it's May 2025, and I'm in my Ballard house, a cozy place with a view of the Sound. Liam's strumming his guitar, practicing for a recital. My studio's alive with new work, bright, hopeful pieces of Seattle's sunsets, Liam's laughter, our future. The Portland show was a hit, and I'm teaching more classes, mentoring kids like Liam who find solace in art. Ethan's a memory, his apologies hollow. Ava and Zoe don't call, and I ache for Liam, but he's okay, surrounded by love, mine, Mom, Sam's, and new friends like Marcus, the single dad who coaches Liam's soccer team. We're not dating, but his kindness, the way he high-fives Liam, gives me hope. My family's smaller now, but stronger, built on truth, not gaslighting or guilt. Liam's perspective has grown. One night as we painted in the studio, he said, "Mom, I'm glad it's just us. You make me feel special." I hugged him, tears falling. He's my why, my reason to break the trauma bond, to set boundaries, to fight. Seattle's taught me that betrayal can be a canvas. Paint over it, and you'll find something beautiful. If you've been hurt, know this. Your story's not over. Protect your heart, your kids, your truth. Turn pain into power, and let the world see you shine. That's the sweetest revenge. Betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from those you trust most. I'm Lily, a Seattle artist who lost my fiancé and sister in a single blow. When my parents demanded I forgive her for my wedding day, I turned my pain into a masterpiece that shocked them all. From heartbreak to a comeback that left jaws on the floor, this is my story of breaking free and reclaiming my life. If you've ever been betrayed by family, drop your story below. Let's heal together. Seattle's got a way of wrapping you in its rhythm. The hum of ferries on the Puget Sound, the scent of espresso drifting from Pike Place Market, the patter of rain on Capitol Hill's cobblestones. It's May 2025, and I'm Lily, 29, sitting in my Fremont studio, staring at a canvas that's as blank as my heart feels. A year ago, I was planning a wedding, dreaming of a life with my fiancé, Owen, and leaning on my sister Clara, like she was my other half. Now, I'm a single mom to my art, my trust shattered, and my story's gone viral in ways I never imagined. Let me take you back to when my world was still in color, before the lies bled it dry. I'm a painter, mostly self-taught, with a small but loyal following in Seattle's art scene. My work, bold, abstract swirls of the city's skies and shores, sells at Fremont art walks and Capitol Hill galleries. I grew up in Ballard, in a cramped house where my sister Clara, 3 years younger, and I shared a bunk bed and secrets. Clara was the wild one, bleached hair, piercings, always chasing music festivals or poetry slams. I was the dreamer, sketching sunsets on Alki Beach, lost in novels or paint. Despite our differences, we were thick as thieves, giggling over boys, swapping clothes, promising to be each other's maid of honor someday. Our parents, Ellen and Tom, both in their late 50s, were strict but loving, always preaching family first. Mom, a librarian, and Dad, a mechanic, drilled into us that blood was thicker than water. I believed it, clung to it, until it became the rope that choked me. I met Owen in 2021 at a Belltown cafe, Macrina Bakery, over a spilled latte. I was 25, juggling art gigs and a part-time job at Elliott Bay Book Company. He was 30, a software engineer with a shy smile and a love for sci-fi novels. I'd bumped into him splashing coffee on his shirt, and he just laughed, saying, "Good thing I hate this shirt." We talked for hours, about Dune, Seattle's best dive bars, and why Pike Place's flying fish were overrated. By the end he had my number, and I had a crush that felt like a sunrise. Owen was my safe place. He'd show up at my studio with takeout from Evers, sit cross-legged on the floor and watch me paint, asking about every stroke. We'd hike in the Olympics, kiss under the stars at Gasworks Park, and plan a future. Marriage, a house in Queen Anne, maybe a dog. He got along with Clara too, which thrilled me. She'd crash our movie nights, dragging Owen into debates about indie bands or street art. "Your sister's a trip," he'd say, grinning, and I'd beam, thinking this is perfect. My family, my love, all in sync. After 2 years, Owen proposed at Kerry Park, the Space Needle glowing behind us. I said yes, tears blurring the city lights. We planned a June 2024 wedding at a Bainbridge Island lodge, with wildflowers, acoustic music, and a small guest list. Clara was my maid of honor, already sketching dress ideas. Mom and Dad were overjoyed, Mom fussing over catering, Dad joking about walking me down the aisle. I thought I had it all. A love I trusted, a sister I adored, a family that had my back. But trust is a canvas, and mine was about to be slashed. The betrayal came in March 2023, 3 months before the wedding. I was swamped, balancing a gallery show in Pioneer Square and wedding plans. Clara was staying with us in our Capitol Hill apartment, her latest gig, a mural project, keeping her in town. She and Owen were chummy as ever, joking about music festivals, sharing playlists. I loved it, or so I thought, blind to the shadows creeping in. It started with a glitch. I borrowed Owen's laptop to email a vendor, mine dead from overuse. His email was open, and I wasn't snooping. Swear, but a notification popped up. A message from Clara, subject, last night. My stomach flipped. Last night? I'd been at a late-night art critique, assuming Owen was home, Clara out with friends. Curiosity, that traitor, nudged me to click. And there it was, a thread that gutted me. "Seishi, I can't stop thinking about you," Clara wrote. "Last night was unreal. When can we do it again?" Owen's reply, "Soon, I promise. You're driving me crazy." My hands shook as I scrolled, messages stretching back months. Flirty, intimate, explicit. Meetups at her studio, stolen kisses at Fremont bars, nights when I was working late. 6 months. They'd been sleeping together for half a year, right under my nose. I felt like I'd been punched. My sister, my best friend, and my fiancé, the man I loved, they'd built a secret world behind my back. I sat there, laptop glowing, the apartment silent except for the hum of the fridge. Owen was at work, Clara at her mural site. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I was too numb, trapped in a trauma bond that whispered, "Maybe it's not what it seems," but it was. The emails were proof, black and white, no room for denial. I confronted Owen that night. He walked in all smiles, carrying takeout from Dick's Drive-In. I didn't smile back. "Explain this," I said, shoving the laptop at him, the email thread open, his face drained of color, that confident grin gone. "Lily, it's not," he started, but I cut him off. "Don't. I read it all. 6 months, Owen, with my sister," he stammered, classic gaslighting kicking in. "You're overreacting. It was a mistake, a one-time thing." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "One time? Try dozens. Get out." He tried to argue, voice rising. "We didn't mean to hurt you. It just happened. Clara and we connected and—" I stopped him, rage boiling. "Connected? You betrayed me. Both of you. Pack your stuff and leave." He begged, eyes wet, but I was done. He grabbed a bag, threw in clothes and left, the door slamming like a gunshot. I sank to the floor, tears burning, the apartment feeling like a tomb. Clara was next. I drove to her mural site in Fremont, hands shaking on the wheel. She was painting, all carefree, until she saw me. Her brush froze, guilt written on her face. "Lily, she started, but I didn't let her finish. "How could you?" I yelled, voice cracking. "My fiancé, my sister," she teared up, stepping closer. "I'm sorry, I love him, it wasn't planned. Love him." The words were a knife. "Love him?" I spat. "You destroyed me, Clara." "We're done." I walked away, her sobs echoing, my heart in shards. I crashed at my friend Mia's place in Ballard, too raw to face our apartment. Mia, a barista at Storyville Coffee, didn't pry, just handed me tea and a blanket. I was a mess, crying, raging, replaying every moment with Owen and Clara, wondering how I'd missed the signs. The trauma bond clung tight, making me question myself. Was I too boring, too trusting? Gaslighting, even from myself, crept in, whispering I'd overreacted. But Mia grounded me. They betrayed you, Lily, not your fault. Telling my parents was harder. A week later, I drove to their house in Tacoma, dreading it. Mom was in the kitchen, baking scones. Dad was in the garage, tinkering with his old Chevy. I sat them down, voice shaking, and spilled it. Clara and Owen, the emails, 6 months of lies. Mom gasped, hand to her mouth. Dad's jaw clenched, his wrench hitting the table. That bastard, he growled. And Clara, my own daughter, I thought they'd rally behind me, but then Mom spoke, soft and hesitant. Maybe you should talk to Clara. She's your sister. I froze. Talk to her. She slept with my fiancé, Mom. Dad nodded but added, we're not saying forgive her now, but family's family. Don't cut her off forever. I couldn't believe it. I just told them my world had imploded, and they wanted me to fix it? She's not my sister anymore, I said, voice hard. She broke us. Mom teared up. Don't say that, Lily. We can't lose you both. I stood, shaking. You're not losing me. You're choosing her. I left. Their pleas fading, feeling more alone than ever. Their reaction was gaslighting, pure and simple, minimizing my pain, making me the problem for not keeping the family together. It hurt almost as much as the betrayal itself. I saw Clara's narcissism in it too, her need to be the center of attention, even in my pain. She'd always been the star, the one Mom and Dad fussed over, while I was the reliable one. Now they were protecting her ego, not my heart. The next few months were a blur. I moved out of the apartment, subletting it to a stranger, and rented a tiny studio in Fremont near the Troll. I threw myself into painting, but my work turned dark, stormy grays, jagged reds, canvases of betrayal. My gallery show flopped. Collectors wanted my old, vibrant pieces, not this angry stuff. I didn't care. Art was my therapy, the only place I could scream. Mia and my friend Jake, a musician, kept me afloat. We'd grab beers at Fremont Brewing, or I'd sketch while Jake busked at Pike Place. But the trauma bond with Owen and Clara lingered. I'd see a couple kissing at Gasworks Park and wonder if Owen ever loved me. I'd pass a mural and think of Clara, hers "Do I love him," echoing. I started therapy with Dr. Kim, a no-nonsense woman in Capitol Hill. She named it a trauma bond, tying me to the people who hurt me, making me crave their approval even now. You're not broken, she said. You're grieving, but you get to choose who stays in your life. I cut contact with Clara and Owen, blocking their numbers. Owen tried emailing once, a week, I'm sorry, but I deleted it. Clara sent a letter, all tears and excuses, claiming she was lost, and didn't mean to hurt me. I burned it in my sink, the smoke curling like my anger. My parents kept calling, leaving voicemails about healing and family. I ignored them, practicing boundary formation, Dr. Kim's term for protecting my peace. It felt selfish, but I needed it. By fall 2023, I was rebuilding. I got a part-time gig teaching art at a community center in Belltown, helping kids paint their dreams. It healed me, seeing their joy, their unscarred trust. I started dating again, cautiously. Enter Nate, 32, a chef at a Pike Place restaurant, met through Jake. He was all warmth, curly hair, quick jokes, and a knack for making killer tacos. Our first date was at Alki Beach, sketching waves while he told stories about burning his first souffle. He knew about Owen and Clara, Jake's big mouth, but didn't push. You're tougher than you think, he said, and I started to believe it. Nate was different. No grand promises, just quiet support. He'd leave coffee at my studio, cheer at my art shows, and listen when I vented about my family. By spring 2024, we were serious. He proposed on a ferry to Bainbridge, the sound sparkling, just us and the wind. I want you, Lily, all of you, he said. I said yes, heart full but scarred, knowing trust would take time. Wedding planning should have been joyful, but my parents turned it into a battlefield. They were thrilled about Nate, but obsessed with Clara. She's changed, Mom said over coffee at Le Panier. Invite her to the wedding. It's a fresh start. I shut it down. She betrayed me, Mom. I'm not ready. Dad was worse, calling from Tacoma. Family's forever, Lily. Don't tear us apart, I snapped. She tore us apart, not me. They're gaslighting, framing my boundaries as selfish. pushed me away. I limited contact, focusing on Nate and my art. The real storm hit in April 2025, 2 months before our June wedding at a Bainbridge lodge. Mom and Dad came to my studio, supposedly to discuss invites. I sensed trouble, Mom's fidgeting, Dad's tight jaw. We sat my latest painting, a stormy sound behind us. Mom spoke first, voice soft but loaded. "Lily, we think you should invite Clara to the wedding. She's family." I sighed, exhausted. "We've been over this. She's not invited. She hurt me." Dad leaned in, firm. "It's your wedding. It's your wedding, a time to unite, not divide." I tried to stay calm. "This is my day, Dad. I don't want her there, reminding me of the worst betrayal of my life." Mom teared up. "She's struggling, Lily. She regrets it." "This could heal things." I laughed, bitter. "Heal? She slept with my fiancé for 6 months. I'm not healing for her." Dad's voice hardened. "If you don't invite her, we might not come." My heart stopped. An ultimatum. Invite Clara or lose them. "You're serious?" I asked, voice shaking. "You'd skip my wedding over her?" Mom nodded, sad but resolute. "We want our family whole." I stood, trembling. "You're choosing her, just like before." "Fine. This is my boundary. Respect it or stay away." They left, Mom crying, Dad silent. I collapsed, sobbing, but felt a strange freedom. I was done bending. A week later, a twist hit. Jake called, voice urgent. "Lily, check X, Clara's posted something." I opened the app, heart racing. Clara had shared a long post, tagged to me, public for all to see. "I'm sorry, Lily," it began, "but you've painted me as the villain. I loved Owen, and you pushed him away with your jealousy. I'm not perfect, but you're tearing our family apart." She spun the story, framing me as bitter. Comments poured in, some defending her, others slamming me. My parents liked the post. I was livid. Clara's narcissism was on full display, rewriting history, seeking sympathy, gaslighting me publicly. The trauma bond tugged, urging me to respond, to fix it. But Dr. Kim's voice echoed, "You don't owe her your silence." I didn't reply. Instead, I painted. My new series, Canvas of Lies, poured out. Raw, vivid pieces of betrayal, trust shattered, a sister's knife. I'd show it at the Seattle Art Fair in July, after the wedding, turning my pain into power. After my parents' ultimatum, the air in my Fremont studio felt heavier, like the rain-soaked Seattle skies pressing down. It was April 2025, and the wedding was 6 weeks away. I should have been picking wildflower bouquets or tasting cakes at Macrina Bakery, but instead, I was wrestling with a wound that wouldn't heal. Clara's ex-post, her audacious rewrite of our betrayal, had lit a fire in me, but it also left me raw. The comments, the likes from Mom and Dad, the strangers debating my pain like it was a reality show, it was too much. I wanted to scream, to paint over her lies, but Dr. Kim's words kept me grounded. "More power is in your response, Lily. Choose it wisely." I threw myself into my Canvas of Lies series, each stroke a release. One painting showed a ferry adrift in a stormy Puget Sound, a lone figure, clinging to the rail. Another was a shattered mirror, Clara's face in the shards, her eyes cold. The colors were raw, crimson, indigo, black, mirroring the chaos inside me. I worked late, the Fremont Troll's shadow looming outside, my only company the hum of the city and Nate's occasional texts. "You okay, love? Tacos at midnight?" His steadiness was a lifeline, but even he couldn't fill the void left by my family. Mia and Jake rallied around me. Over beers at Fremont Brewing, Mia slammed her glass down, her barista ponytail bouncing. Clara's post? Total narcissist move. She's playing the victim to save face. And Jake, strumming an imaginary guitar, nodded. "She's gaslighting the internet, Lily. Don't let her rewrite your story." Their support was fierce, but the trauma bond with Clara tugged at me. I'd catch myself wondering if she was struggling, if I was too harsh. Dr. Shandhu. Kim called it, "a grief for the sister you thought you had." I hated it, but I was learning to sit with it, to form boundaries that protected my heart. Nate was my rock. One night as we walked Alki Beach, waves lapping under a pink sunset, he held my hand. "It's your parents, Clara. They're wrong, Lily. This wedding's about us, not them." I leaned into him, his chef's jacket smelling of garlic and hope. What if they don't come? I whispered. He kissed my forehead. Sen will dance without them. You're enough. His words were a brushstroke painting over my doubts. I was starting to believe I could do this, marry Nate, live my truth, without their approval. But Clara wasn't done. A week after her post, I got a text from an unknown number. Lily, it's me. Can we meet? I need to explain. My pulse race? Clara! I almost blocked her, but curiosity, or that damn trauma bond, won. I agreed to meet at a neutral spot, a cafe in Capitol Hill, Le Panier, where the scent of croissants couldn't mask the tension. She was already there, her bleached hair now a muted brown, her piercings gone. She looked smaller, almost fragile, but I wasn't fooled. Narcissists wear masks. Lily, she started, voice soft. I'm so sorry, that post was a mistake. I was hurt, lashing out. I sipped my coffee, staying cold. Hurt? You slept with Owen for 6 months, Clara. You don't get to be hurt. She teared up, a performance I'd seen before. I know I messed up. I loved him, but it's over. I miss you. Can't we try to fix this? Her words were a trap, gaslighting me into thinking I owed her reconciliation. I leaned back, boundary formation kicking in. You miss me? Or you miss being the good sister in everyone's eyes? You broke us, Clara. I'm not here to fix you. She flinched, then shifted tactics. Mom and Dad are a wreck. They're begging me to come to the wedding to make things right. If you don't invite me, they won't go. My jaw dropped. She was admitting it, using our parents as pawns, her narcissism weaponizing their loyalty. So you're manipulating them to guilt me? I said, voice low. She shrugged, a flicker of defiance. I'm just saying it's your call, but you're tearing the family apart. Stood done. I stood done. Oh no, Clara, you did that. Stay away from my wedding. I walked out, heart pounding but lighter. I'd seen her for what she was, a narcissist who'd rather burn bridges than face her guilt. The weeks before the wedding were a tightrope walk. I sent out invites, my parents' names included, hoping they'd rethink their stance. They didn't respond, their silence louder than words. Clara's post kept circulating, with ex-users debating, was Lily too harsh? Was Clara the real victim? I stayed off social media, focusing on Nate and my art. The Canvas of Lies series grew, each piece a story. I painted a woman rising from ashes, her hands dripping color, a nod to my rebirth. The Seattle Art Fair was a month after the wedding, and I was determined to make it my stage. Wedding planning was bittersweet. Mia, my maid of honor, dragged me to Pike Place to pick flowers, her humor cutting through my gloom. Clara's not invited, so we're safe from bad bleach jobs, she quipped, tossing a daisy at me. I laughed, but the ache lingered. Nate and I chose a playlist, indie folk, no sappy ballads, and booked a ferry to Bainbridge for guests. Every decision felt like defiance, a boundary against my family's pressure. But their absence loomed, a shadow over my joy. My parents escalated. A week before the wedding, Mom showed up at my studio unannounced, her librarian bun tight, eyes red. Lily, please, she said, clutching a photo of me and Clara as kids. Invite her, she's changed. We can't miss your wedding. I stared at the photo, memories flooding, Clara braiding my hair, us laughing at Alki. The trauma bond pulled, but I pushed back. Mom, she betrayed me. You're asking me to pretend it didn't happen. I can't. She shook her head, gaslighting me. And you're being stubborn. Family forgives. You're breaking our hearts. I snapped, boundary formation in full force. Breaking your hearts? She slept with my fiancé, Mom. You're choosing her over me, she cried, but didn't budge. If Clara's not there, we won't be either. I pointed to the door. Then go. This is my day, not yours. She left, the photo on the table, a relic of a family I no longer knew. I tore it up, the pieces falling like confetti, and painted over my pain. A canvas of a lone tree, roots deep, standing tall. June 15, 2025, dawned clear, the Puget Sound sparkling like a promise. The Bainbridge Lodge was perfect. Wildflowers in mason jars, fairy lights twinkling, the scent of cedar in the air. I wore a simple ivory dress, my hair loose, Nate's ring on my finger a reminder of what mattered. Mia fussed over me, joking, "You're glowing, but don't outshine my speech." I smiled, but my heart was heavy. My parents hadn't RSVP'd. Clara was a ghost I couldn't shake. Guests arrived, Nat's family, warm and loud, Jake strumming a guitar, friends from the art scene. I scanned the crowd, hoping, but Mom and Dad weren't there. At 3 p.m., an hour before the ceremony, Mia pulled me aside. "Lily, you need to see this." She showed me her phone, an ex-post from Clara, Liv from Seattle. A video of her outside Pike Place, teary-eyed, saying, "My sister's getting married today, but I'm not invited. She's punishing me for a mistake. Family should forgive." The post was blowing up, thousands of views, comments calling me heartless. I was shaking, rage and hurt colliding. Clara's narcissism had reached new heights, hijacking my wedding day for sympathy, gaslighting the world into seeing me as the villain. Nate found me, his chef's calm steadying. "Don't let her ruin this." I nodded, but the wound was fresh. I wanted to fight back, to scream my truth, but Dr. Kim's voice echoed, "Hey, choose your power." I took a breath, boundary formation anchoring me. "Oh, let's get married," I said. "She doesn't get to win." The ceremony was beautiful, Nata's vows funny and heartfelt, promising to burn fewer dinners and love me through storms. I vowed to trust again, to paint our future bright. Mia's speech had everyone laughing, toasting to Lily's badass heart. But as we danced under the stars, Clara's video gnawed at me. I knew she was planning more, a storm I couldn't yet see. 2 days after the wedding, back in Fremont, the next twist hit. Jake texted me a screenshot from X, a new post by Clara, this time with Owen. They were together, announcing their engagement at a Belltown bar, the same one where Owen and I used to date. Clara's caption, "Bound by forever, despite the hate. Lily, I wish you'd understand." Owen's smug face was back, his arm around her, their ring a cheap echo of mine. The post tagged me, a deliberate taunt, and my parents commented, "So happy for you, Clara." I was floored. Clara and Owen engaged? After everything, they'd reunited, parading it like a victory. The narcissism was blatant, Clara's need to one-up me, to steal my spotlight, Owen's arrogance in thinking he'd won. My parents' comment was the real knife. They'd chosen her publicly, again. I felt the trauma bond flare, that old urge to confront them, to beg for fairness. Instead, I called Mia. "They're engaged," I said, voice shaking. She laughed, sharp. "Engaged? Shh. They're a circus. Let them crash. You've got the art fair." Mia was right. The Seattle Art Fair was my chance to rewrite the narrative. I poured my pain into canvas of lies, adding a new piece, a phoenix of gold and fire, rising from a sea of lies, my defiance. I wasn't just painting, I was building a stage for my truth, a revenge that wouldn't scream but sing. Clara thought she'd won with her ex-posts, her ring, her lies. She was about to meet the real Lily. The art fair prep consumed me. I worked with a curator, Sarah, who loved my series' raw edge. "This is your story," she said, arranging the Phoenix piece center stage. I invited my art community, my students, even Nate's cousins, but not my parents or Clara. Boundary formation meant protecting my space, and this was mine. I practiced my artist talk, weaving betrayal and resilience. No names, just truth. "Art saved me," I'd say. "When trust broke, it gave me wings." Nate supported me, cooking late-night tacos, joking about starving artist cliches. One night, as we sat on my studio floor, "Paint on my hands," he said. "You're unstoppable, Lily." "Clara's got nothing on you." I smiled, believing it. The trauma bond was fading, replaced by a love for myself, for Nate, for the life I was painting. But Clara's shadow lingered, her engagement a taunt I couldn't ignore. A week before the fair, another twist. Mom emailed me. "Lily, we're sorry. Clara's engagement was a shock. We want to come to the art fair to support you. Can we talk?" My heart raced. Hope, anger, caution colliding. Were they genuine, or was this Clara's manipulation, using them again? I didn't reply, unsure, but kept the email, a crack in the wall between us.